What up, what up? Tonight is the premiere of Champs vs. Stars, Season 3. I'm pumped. It was a very good season. A lot of really cool things happened while I was there. Met a lot of great people. The Stars definitely brought it a lot more than last season. And I'm really looking forward to you guys all seeing it tonight. I will be watching and live tweeting more than likely. And so I'm just checking out. What up, Travis? Travis Bowring in the house, people. So let's answer some questions. And so anything that you guys got, let's get some stuff out. So someone just asked, is Dario better at eliminations than me? Well, we've done one elimination together, and he beat me. And so I would say the answer is yes, he is better than me. He must be the elimination king. Are you manipulating these starts into investing in your business? I don't know what that means. Oh, the stars into investing in my business? No, there are very few stars that are wealthy enough to invest in my business. That's more of an ego thing than an insult thing. So I'm not calling them broke. I'm just saying I'm to the stage where I'm not accepting check sizes that are small enough for the average, even normal wealthy person to invest. Okay, but that's a boring thing. All right, what's the real beef with you and Bananas? Okay, let's just get this one out, and then hopefully we won't have any more Bananas questions, because those are boring and everyone hates them. And him. Bananas and I have a good working relationship. In other words, we know where each other stands in the game, which is against each other. We'll never be able to work with each other because we'll never be able to trust each other. We've, in various capacities, have tested that to a certain extent, but it just would never work. And that is powerful in and of itself, because it means that we know where each other stands, and it's better to know for a fact that guy's going against you than it is to have somebody that's on the fence and you're not quite sure where they sit. You want to work with people that are definitively with you, and just because someone is definitively against you doesn't mean you necessarily even have to go against them right from the beginning. We actually don't get along, and it's not because we truly hate each other. It's just because we're very different types of people, come from very different walks of life. And I personally find him to be the most entertaining guy on the whole challenge in incredibly small doses. Like, the first hour of every challenge, he's my favorite person there. But the problem is, the challenge isn't an hour. The challenge is a month or two straight, which means right after the first hour, he goes from my favorite person to my least favorite person to just downright annoying as fuck. For the rest of the time. And I know very few people that kind of disagree with that sentiment. What's my dog's name? My dog's name is Bootstrap. How do I feel about people who have never won the challenge being called champs? Let's be real here. Buta Murray and MTV, they made the show, the challenge. They made the name of it. They made the show Champs vs. Stars and Champs vs. Pros. They crown the kings. They crown the winners. They crown the up-and-coming people. If they want to call this show Champs vs. Stars and not exclusively cast actual champions by the internet's definition, that is their prerogative and their choice, and they get to make it. They have the right to do so. I can understand why it's a little bit misleading, but it's all for the betterment of the show. In their eyes, the people that they're choosing are going to be very soon to become champions, more than likely, or they're champions in the eyes of a television producer who is the only people that actually matter. Let's see. So and I guess there. Let's see. So on the champs, but that's a good question though. But I'm with it. And let's also remember here, we're not playing in the Olympics here. This is the television show, and up and comers versus D-list celebrities is just not all that good of a show name. So I think that we should just let them keep the whole champs versus stars thing. Do you follow Casey Neistat? You remind me of him. Go Getters? No idea who that is, but I'll look him up. Just joking. I'm going to forget about that in 2 seconds. Will I ever come back to a normal challenge? It would hurt my heart if I don't get to do one more challenge, like the big one. I've been invited to do absolutely every challenge, every spinoff show, every reunion since I first appeared on The Real World when I was 19 years old. And so they have been incredibly kind. MTV and Buena Murray have been incredibly kind with their invitations with me. We have a great working relationship. I'm very happy that they allow me to be in their family. And I really want to do one more. And I'm making moves in my business life for it to be possible for me to do one more. But at the rate my business is going, it's getting increasingly irresponsible to leave. When you're in charge of a bunch of people, when people's families are relying on you to pay their checks, it's kind of hard to just leave for a month, and with limited internet connection. So I'm going to do my best because I really want to do one more, but I can't guarantee it in any capacity. Let's see here. Am I still engaged? Yes, I am still engaged, and the date is on June 1st. We're essentially eloping. We were going to do the big fancy wedding, and holy crap, I just cannot believe how stressful it was to even think about all those moving parts with how busy I am, and my fiance is incredibly busy as well, and she just started a new job, and between all that kind of stuff, we were just like, let's just knock out a quickie, and that's what we have on the timeline. Do I still talk to CT? Yes, I do. I love my conversations with CT. I talk to him on the phone, I'd say once every couple of weeks or so when I'm making my commutes to and fro Oklahoma. And he's fun to talk to, with the exception of he mumbles. So it's I have to pay way more attention than I'd like. Because normally, when you talk to a normal person, you can just casually listen and just enjoy the conversation. With him, I have to use every brainwave imaginable to just interpret what the fuck he's saying, because so much of it is just mumbling. Do you regret dumping soda on Cara Maria? Yes, that was an incredibly immature thing to do. I will never take back my regret, never take back my apology. But let's make something abundantly clear. She was going out of her way for a literal month on a daily basis to annoy the ever-living shit out of me. And every day it just got worse and worse and worse. And the first couple of times I let it go over my head. The next couple of times I was like, hey, do you think you could maybe not act like that around me? Then the next couple of times I was like, can you just leave me alone? And then the next couple of times after that, it was like, okay, seriously? This is getting worse and worse and worse. What do I have to do to get you to just leave me alone and stop annoying me? And so there was a long, drawn-out, boring, not on television kind of build-up to that story. And then we were in Buenos Aires, Paula, Tyler, me, I want to say there was 2 or 3 other people, and we were in this kitchen essentially having a food fight. And she walks up and makes one of those annoying comments where she was purposely trying to just be annoying and not be involved in the group, not have a conversation, not, be a part of what it was they were doing, but she just did another one of those things after this month of kind of build up. And so I involved her in the food fight. It was just that kind of simple. But I shouldn't have done that. I should have just ignored her, and I apologize for that because it was immature. She definitely deserved something. I just don't think it necessarily was soda. Okay, Kellyanne question mark. I don't really know what that means. A little ambiguous. I don't really keep in contact with her anymore. I'd say I randomly, like a random phone call, maybe once every year and a half or so. She's a great girl, one of the best girlfriends that I ever had. Actually, no, I take that back. She was a horrible girlfriend, but she's a great person, and as long as she's matured a little bit, I bet whoever ends up with her is going to be a very happy guy or girl, if you know anything about Kellyanne. Um, so it could be either in that situation. But no, great girl, but she was just a really immature person at the time. Okay, so would you go in as a mercenary? Yes, I was asked to go in as a mercenary on Vendettas. I'm assuming that I would have been going against Joss. I am assuming that I was asked to do that and not Derek because Derek is boring, and I'm not. Because this is my charitable side. When I say no to the mercenary stuff, it gives people like Derek an opportunity to go on TV and to do what he does. But the thing about it is, because it had to be a secret, they had to wait until everyone left before they could start calling the mercenaries, which makes sense, right? But the problem is, if they wait until after everyone leaves and then they need them to go across the world to get to the show, that means that they were giving very, very little notice. So they asked me for the first go around, and I told them I couldn't do it. They essentially needed me to get on a plane in like 48 hours. And I couldn't do that because I had shit going on, and I just need more time than 48 hours to leave for 3 to 5 days. And so then like 5 days later, they called me again and asked again, and now I know why, because there was kind of two sets of mercenaries. So I guess I was invited to do both of them. And I was in pretty darn good shape at the time. I think if I remember correctly, that was just after Champs versus Stars. Well, anyway, for Champs versus Stars, I don't know whether or not you're going to see it in tonight's premiere anytime soon, but I actually worked out for this. I got pretty ripped. I got in pretty darn good shape. I wasn't as strong or have as much endurance as me at like my peak, but I was getting up there. And it was fun, and I fully anticipate on staying in that kind of shape and eventually getting back up to the peak. Not necessarily because of the challenge, but I had just forgotten what it was like and what it felt like to be in that kind of shape, and it felt good. I was sleeping better. I was craving healthier foods, and I just took like 5 years off lifting and eating right when I started my company because I just had no work-life balance. I essentially jumped into the deep end of something that I didn't really particularly know exactly what I was doing, and which is, how every entrepreneur ever starts. And so instead of being a good family man and being a good boyfriend and being a good healthy person and being a good contributing member to society and being a good cast member that trains for these things, I didn't really do any of that. All I did was work. And so now that my business is a little bit more sustainable, I had time to kind of train again, and it felt really good. So I feel like I'm going to just get in really good shape and knock one more of these suckers out. And do I ever talk to Tanya? No. Did you run the Fresh Me Too house? Yeah, but let's be honest, I run just about every house. Let's see. Will you do Challenge Mania? Maybe you and D could make up. That's an interesting question. Because Derek is not the sharpest crayon in the box. And when I tell my factual stories and I can defend myself in an oral capacity, he's going to look like an absolute dipshit. And so it's his platform. He could edit it. He could delete it. Why would I ever put him in a position where he has full control over how a story is told? And so that's probably the reason that I would never do it. That said, let me say a couple of good things about Derek. I don't think he's aware of the things that he's done wrong and ill in my life. And because of that, I don't hold my distaste for him completely at, on his plate, if that makes any sense. It's like his intelligence and contextual awareness isn't strong enough to understand what he's done wrong. And because of that, I don't really like hate him. I just am like, okay, that's just a lesser human, and I just don't interact with him because of it. But yeah, so that's it. But I do know that he's a really good guy. He's likable. He's fun to be around. He's really fun to drink with. He's good at the eliminations. He's good at the main game. And I listen to his podcast. I've probably listened to 5 to 7 of his episodes, somewhere in that range, and they're like an hour a piece. So it's like I'm not like just sitting back like a crazy hater. I am a fan of what he's doing and of him in general, and I just have a little bit of distaste and ill will towards him. All right, let's see what else we got. We need another fresh meat cast of randoms, maybe. There was a lot of losers that came in on fresh meat. Do I still talk to Mandy? No, I would. Maybe, I'd love like a once a year phone call. But no, she's kind of fallen off the face of the earth. Would you have beat Joss? Ooh, good question. God, that's so tempting to say some cocky things. Let's just use math, okay? So no egos answering this whatsoever. Let's just use something called the transitive property. I beat Derek at pole wrestle. Derek beat Joss at pole wrestle, i.e., I would beat Joss at that game. And I know that this is a new thing. We kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I'm back in shape. I do agree that Joss is a substantially better looking and more ripped individual than I am. And he looks really fun, to be around, but and I would enjoy meeting him. But just, for cocky purposes and math purposes, we all have to admit, I probably would have won that. Do I still talk to Teresa? Geez, a lot of X questions. No, I don't talk to Teresa. I'd do a once-a-year phone call or whatever, but I don't think she wants to hear from me, and I don't want to talk to her enough to get past that. But we got to a really good emotional place for our friendship, if you will, after the last show we did together, which was X's 2, I think. We played a really good game together. We got along really well. It was fun to be around her. She's a good girl. I miss her a little bit. Let's see here. Do you get in contact with Johanna? Jesus, people. Okay, so I guess we're just going to talk about every woman I've ever slept with publicly. Actually, no, we're not, because I'm getting off here soon, and it would take a while to roll through that list. Yeah, so no, I don't keep in contact with Johanna. Let's talk about this for just a quick second. Johanna was easily the worst girlfriend that I ever had in my life, and I would say that to her face. I don't think that she would disagree with it. She was a very mean person. She's perfect for reality television. Everything is an extreme. When she was being nice, she was the nicest in the world. When she was being sweet, she was being the sweetest in the world. When she looked cute, she looked the cutest in the world. But then she would flip a switch, and she could also be the most vindictive, mean, spiteful, hatred, jealous person I've ever met in my entire life. And I was immature and stupid at the time. I couldn't understand what she was doing to me, and I just kept taking it. I was a victim in this emotional and physical abusive relationship towards me, not the other way around. And because I was just so young and stupid, and I got caught up in the whole, we have this relationship on TV thing, and I got trapped in it all for too long, and it's a regret. I should have gotten out of that way earlier. Let's see. Sharpest crayon in the box. Do you mean sharpest tool in the shed? No. Crayons need to be sharp as well. How can you like draw a pretty picture with dull wax? It would be very difficult. You need sharp crayons as well. Sarah and Susie said they edited them too. Ooh, that's some tea right there. Very interesting. One of the reasons why I wouldn't go on that, or at least I'd want some assurances that it wouldn't be edited out if he comes off looking like an idiot. Do you still talk to Evelyn? No, I would. What's my business? It's a business incubator. We're essentially like a school for startups where we get a pinch of their equity in exchange for a bevy of goods and services designed to increase their likelihood of success. We have more than doubled our revenues every single year since inception, doing tens of millions of dollars in sales. I just paid more in personal income tax Monday than the winner of this challenge is going to get. So do the math. When I do these games, it's not for the money anymore. When I was a kid, it definitely was part of it. If I ever come back, and the reason why I played the Champs vs. Pros is the 100% honest to God truth, the number one main reason is because they have built the most fun game for a competitive person ever invented. Like, I mean, I still play soccer, but I can go on Sundays with my friends and play an adult league and kick the ball around and check that box, get a fix on soccer, right? But I can't get a fix on the challenge. What are my friends supposed to do? Get together in an intramural challenge league here in Kansas City or in Oklahoma? Not a fucking shot is that going to happen. And so, like, I will always have that itch to want to play their game because it literally is the coolest game of all time. And because I can't get that fix any other way than just to do it, I make sacrifices in my personal and professional life to make it possible to do it, because it's an amazing game. Go on and just let Scott interview you. Like I said, I have listened to his thing before, and I feel like Scott would understand my trepidations, and I feel like he's not as biased as Derek is. So I mean, I would entertain that option. Is Jordan's steroid accusations true? I guess it depends on whether or not we're saying Jordan does steroids or whether or not we're saying Jordan's saying that I do steroids. I'm not 100% sure. If both is the same answer. I have never said Jordan does steroids. I don't think he does. Can't imagine why he would need to. He's not built that way. I think he's just naturally good at a lot of things. And then he's never been around me when I've been ripped. So all he knows of any time for which I've never heard of him alleging steroids, but if he has, all he's doing is parroting what other people like Derek, which is the start of the reason why I don't like Derek, the steroid allegations. It's like the people that say that I do steroids, or say that, for the most part, most of the cast members, when they say they do steroids, it's almost always out of insecurity. Are there probably people that do it? Yes. But this isn't the fucking CrossFit Games, people, where we know that like 90% of those people are probably on steroids. You don't have to take steroids to get ripped. You lift weights 5-ish days a week. You even sort of know what you're doing while you're lifting the weights. You don't even have to be really all that good at it. You just have to like sort of know what you're doing. And then you eat more than you burn, and you eat somewhat clean, and you eat mostly protein. And if you follow those general steps and then wait a couple of months, you're going to be kind of ripped. Now, if you add in on that the fact that I was a competitive swimmer for just about my entire life and have lifted since I think my first summer was going into freshman year of high school, which meant that by the time national television saw me, I'd been lifting for 5+ years. By the time I went on the duel, it was 7+ years. By the time I went on the ruins, it was 8 or 9+ years of lifting. You don't have to be on steroids to be 5'10", 175 or 180 pounds and have a six-pack. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, you just don't have to do it. And this isn't supposed to be like a motivational clip here. I'm just giving you the facts. It's like, you don't have to be that smart. You just have to have patience. And you don't even have to work that hard. Like, I mean, we're talking like an hour of lifting 5, maybe 6 days a week for like 6 months. And lifting is so easy. That's why they call it anabolic. It's because you don't even really get your heart rate up that much. Like, as soon as you get tired, you put the weight down. And so it's like, anytime someone says the steroid thing about anyone, whether that's me or other people, I just have to like second guess it. I'm just like, oh man, are you saying that because you know it, or are you saying that because you're just naive to how easy it is to get ripped? Okay, best female challenger. Best female challenger. Emily comes to mind. Evelyn comes to mind. I mean, obviously those two. Everyone says those two. So I wish I had a little bit more creative of an answer to that. But you know, it is what it is. Those two are pretty fucking good. Are you allowed to listen to music when you're in the challenge house? No. Are you allowed to listen to music on Champs vs. Stars? Yes, in between scenes, kind of like when we're in the cars and stuff. It's one of the main reasons that why I'm able to do Champs vs. Stars is because we get to keep our phones. And, you know, a smartphone these days you can run a company off of. And so in Los Angeles, everything is an hour apart, like everything, if not more. And so it's like every time we go from place to place, I can log in, I can listen to music, I can return some emails, I can tell people that need me, hey, you know, can you just wait a couple weeks? I'm almost done with this thing, at which point it's not a big deal. It's when people don't get responses from me and they think I'm blowing them off, and those start to stack up in the hundreds of requests, at which point that's when I get in trouble. Best partner besides CT? I mean, CT was a pretty fucking good partner. Teresa was my next best partner. She is a very underrated competitor. She's a top 5 athlete in the girl challenge world. She doesn't get enough credit for that. And she's also pretty fucking smart. She's Looney Tunes, which means that as long as she's like aware, I think we had this inside joke where we would say go to Sweden, because I think she wanted to take like a trip there or something, and so I would say and this was her idea, I would just say Sweden, or maybe it was Scandinavia or something like that, and I'd say that, and then that would be her, what she would do is she would then stop talking and just pretend she was on her dream vacation, so that way she wouldn't say anything that would like perturb the other cast members. And so that's kind of how that worked out. But yeah, she was a good partner. Opinion of the Troika. Love the Troika. I love just about everything about Vendettas. I thought it was, from a fan's perspective, if I'm excluding every challenge that I've been on to get rid of biases, and then I'm adding in every challenge that I either know of or have watched, I have to say that Vendettas was my absolute favorite of all of them. Like, as a fan, I'm completely caught up on everything. I got a couple of weeks behind there for a little bit, but I got caught up, binged a couple episodes, and now I'm as live as you guys. And then when I'm around my friends on the challenge and they start talking about who won, I'm like, whoa, earmuffs, spoiler alerts, don't tell me. So I don't even know who won. I'm going to find out tonight with you guys. And so, yeah, the Troika is a great idea. The whole thing was just very well structured. Are you and Romeo still boys? Once a BFF, always a BFF. Opinion on Devin. Okay. Devin is one of the coolest guys to have gone on the show in a very long time. Him and I hit it off immediately upon meeting, which was at the start of Rivals 3. And he's just really smart, really fun to be around, and he's really good at the challenges. And I think he's starting to realize how good he could be if he just came into these things a little bit more in shape. And so we started working out a lot more before Champs vs. Stars and a tiny bit before Vendettas. And so you're going to see a lot more athletic Devin, I promise you. Did I get to meet Hulk Hogan? Because he's pretty neat. Yeah, like the neatest. But no, I didn't get to meet him in person. I talked to him for a split second on FaceTime. And I got to flex for him, and he flexed back. So I get to say that I was in a flex off with Hulk Hogan, which is badass. Brooke was a great girl. You're not going to have anyone say anything bad about Brooke. Now, she did get into some fights. She definitely put herself into controversial situations. So she's going to be a very good cast member. She's going to be very good at this game. I can see her doing pretty fucking well on the normal challenge too. So I don't think that she could do the normal challenge. I don't know. I'm not her fucking secretary, so I don't know. But yeah, she's good. I'm looking forward to seeing her on TV. And I've seen a couple of clips of her interviews, and she's also funny. I mean, she's going to be just a good all-around person to watch. You are hilarious. Thank you. I know. Where are you currently living? I spend half my time in Kansas City and half my time in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Do I still talk to Nani? No, I haven't talked to her in a while. Maybe 2 years plus since I've talked to her. What was your most disappointing season? You know, I thought the X's 2, where Leroy beat me in the Hall Brawl, was pretty fucking disappointing, because I played, as Devin would describe it, a cerebral game. And I was running every single day, so I wasn't like ripped or anything, but I was going to murk that final, like absolutely murk it, and Teresa was running with me, so we were like good to go. It's just Leroy beat the shit out of me in that Hall Brawl, but at the time I think he weighed 30 if not 40 more pounds than me, and so I went for a strategy that I thought was smart, where I was just going to dive immediately and take out his legs. But in the process of, in hindsight, it was stupid. At the time, it made a little bit of sense. It made more sense than trying to just go head on against a guy that's got 20 pounds on me. But what happened is when I dove, it's like there wasn't enough space for me to truly get to the bottom and grab him. And so what happened was he got so far so fast that his knee hit my head back upwards, and I got whiplash backwards and just totally fucked my neck up. I could barely even move my head back and forth for a month. I couldn't safely drive when I got home. How was teaming up with CT? It worked out really well. I mean, we also had DM, who was a good therapist between us, because sometimes CT and I don't have the greatest communication between each other. I think we almost work best. We know what each other are thinking, but then when we start talking, stuff just starts going downhill. And DM, on the other hand, she understood my language and she understood his language, and she was there to help translate for us. Yes, please spill the tea on Johanna. There's nothing that good. At least not that I'm going to share here. What type of business do you run? I already did that. Plan on getting another dog? I do not plan on getting another dog. Bootstrap is more than enough pooch for me. Were you surprised when Laurel and Nicole hit it off? Yeah. Laurel is an interesting bird. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, I really enjoy your company. And then sometimes it is the complete inverse of that. And so I don't want boring friends, so don't interpret what I'm about to say to mean that, but I just want you to be a little bit more predictable. I don't want to have to walk into every conversation on guard about what person I'm about to have a conversation with. Like, there's a difference between being crazy and being entertaining, being smart and being funny, and being, you know, have multiple personalities. And so that's my take on her. Never know really what I'm going to get. Do you and Nehemiah and I still talk? Yes, he is officiating my wedding. Let's see. What do I think of Devin? Already did that. Who are the top 5 challengers? Fuck, I have the same answer as everybody else. Same 5-ish people. Any kids in the near future, Wes? I mean, yeah, I want kids. Are you kidding me? Who's going to go on challenge season 130 if I don't start procreating godlike little baby gingers? And so be prepared. You'll see them in about 20 or so years. When are you coming to Tulsa next? I want to meet you. I come every week, but I'm not going to meet you because I don't meet up with fans in person. That's just like a recipe for success, for bad things to happen. I mean, you should be a producer. No shit. What do I think of Romeo Miller? I already talked to that. Do I talk to Kenny? No. You were the most well-rounded challenger of all time. Truth. Was that 10K flight real or a joke? Was that 10K flight real or joke? Oh yeah, real. Went to China, got a shitload done. It's a great little trip. Why don't they do Battle of the Sexes? I'm not going to answer that. There's no way in 2018 to answer that realistically without pissing half of you guys off. What do you think about announcing the the winners of the reunion? I'm torn on that. I see why they do it. As a fan, I would tune in though if I saw the winner announced on the actual show. I'd still tune in for the reunion. So, I understand why they're doing it, but like, just from one person's opinion, I don't personally need them to play that type of a game to get me to tune in, because if I've watched the entire season, the reunion is going to end up being like the best episode of all. And so I don't really need any more. I don't need a carrot to watch it. How well would you have done if you were on season 31? So 31 was Vendetta's. To realistically answer this question would be difficult because you never really know. But from a cocky standpoint, I probably would have done pretty fucking well. More than a handful of my actual friends were on it, which is, there's full challenges that I've been on where I walk in and not any actual person that I keep in contact with outside of the show was there. And this on Vendetta's, there was like 5 people that I keep in regular contact with, which is a damn good place to start. And some of the games that they played, I would have guaranteed won. I mean, there was a soccer ball on fire. Would have killed that. There was a swimming, holding your breath competition. I would have murdered that. I mean, are you kidding me? How would I be on Survivor? I actually am a new fan of Survivor. I've watched the last 2 seasons now, and I like it more and more as I continue to watch it. I get it. It's a lot more different than the challenge. I used to view it as like the redheaded stepchild of the game show universe compared to our show, which I'm allowed to say you're not, because, I'm a redhead. And to a certain extent, it kind of is, but I don't think I would do very good on Survivor. On the challenge, one of the places that hurts me, but it helps me more than it hurts me, but it definitely hurts me, is I refuse to fake be nice to anyone. I refuse to do that because it just hurts too much. Like, I literally can't do it. I instead find the people that I actually do like and just spend all my time with them actually being nice with them. And then I just leave the other people alone. Well, on Survivor, what I'm learning is, it's just a big elementary school class president voting competition where it's whoever's the most popular and well-liked. And I will never be the most universally well-liked person in any game show, any office, any city, any environment. I'm just not universally liked. The people that like me love me. The people that don't like me hate me. And that is how I like to live my life. And I'm not purposely trying to piss people off. It's just I have opinions on things. Not like strong, like they're malleable when new data comes in, but I'm just not gonna, placate to idiots. What's my favorite show you're watching right now? I'm watching Riverdale, and I love it. For 3 reasons. Okay, one is it's a really good, entertaining show, so that should be all you need. 2, finally, we got a diverse cast, and there's actually some redheads. It's like a 70% redheaded cast, finally. And third, in the same vein as number 2, the redhead bad girl, rich daughter girl character, that's my get out of jail free card, if you know what I mean. If my fiance is watching this, sorry, babe. I'd have to take her down. Okay. Why wasn't Bananas on this season? Well, because fucking people need a break from that guy. Jesus. He's so obnoxious. Hello from KC. Thoughts on Killer Cam? She is going to be a very important character in the coming years on the challenge. Mark my words. We got along. She was good at the game. She was good at the overall game as well as the athletic part. So, yeah, I mean, I've got high hopes for her. Yeah. Do you think Bananas is forever cursed for fucking over Sarah? I don't think that the word cursed is correct with Bananas. I think instead it has a lot more to do with, people were on the fence about whether to trust him before. And now it's just like there was such a tangible and visual thing for them to all have just like burned in their memory of he doesn't give a fuck about anyone. And this character that he's just over dramatizing for himself is building a great brand for him outside of the game. But it's also just showing that like his brand and the decisions that he does are more important than loyalty. And, for whatever reason, and I'm partly to blame for this, but I get a reputation for being a manipulator. But I don't manipulate. I find mutually advantageous situations that, yes, have selfish intentions, but I don't propose them if they don't also add value to the other person. I don't ever put someone in a situation where I'm like going to pull the rug out from underneath them and make them look stupid or stab them in the back. I don't need to do any of that. I play the game until I find a mutually advantageous situation. I propose the advantageous situation. I judge the person the entire time throughout said proposal about how well they take advantage of it. And then based on how well that goes, I then propose a slightly more risky, mutually advantageous situation, and I go from there. And it's been like that for a decade plus, and I've never had to screw anyone over. Now, I've also sent more people home than anyone in the history of the show by like double, possibly even more. Which means there's a lot of people out there that don't like me. I don't like anyone all that much that has sent me home. And so that means there's a shitload of people out there that hold animosity towards me, but I didn't do that. Someone put me in the ring against them. You can't, when a pit bull kills another pit bull in a ring, you can't get mad at the killer. 2 bad people put those pit bulls in that ring, and one just had to come out alive. And so... Do I have to spend 10 grand to meet you? Yeah, I'd meet you for 10 grand. I'd give you a full fucking day, like a work day, like 8 hours with a lunch break. So 10K. Yeah. So yeah, $10,000 to hang out with me. Are you going to compete on another challenge? Already answered that. All right. My time is coming to an end. I had to kill a little bit of time because I was waiting for a phone call that I didn't want to miss. And I got caught up on all my emails. So I hope to do this more often. I hope it was fun for you guys. You guys ask really boring questions that I've been asked a million times, so I'd love for you to pick up the creativity next time. And yeah, don't forget to tune in to Champs vs. Stars tonight. It's going to be an interesting first episode. I'm pumped, and I will see you guys later. Adios.